The Arizona Cardinals will be taking on the Denver Broncos in week 2 of the preseason. We don't know a lot of things. A lot of things are uncertain, but the Cardinals and the Broncos will be having a joint practice. I'm sure a fight won't break out. I'm sure everything will be level-headed against their week 2 matchup. Everything's going to be okay. Joint practices never have fights. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this, man. There's a little interesting tidbits we're going to be going over, a lot of optimism, a lot of starters want to get out there and roll. They're excited for this joint practice, man. Let's go ahead and dive in and give you guys my insights, and you guys let me know down below yours as well. So first things first, we could talk about how Denver absolutely smoked San Francisco. And San Francisco has some talent, especially in their depth. Mac Jones is very solid. Brock Purdy and the starters did not play, so they got crushed. Like, who would have thought, right? But Denver, they are rocking some of their starters. As you guys see, Bo Nix got some good play. He went 6 for 11, 31 yards. Looked okay in his preseason debut. Jarrett Stidham came in here and actually slinged that thing. 2 touchdowns, 14 of 15. Probably going to be a problem, but it's a good test because clearly Sean Payton has coached this guy up, and he was slinging it. Their backup quarterbacks were going crazy. It's a good test for our defense and our backups. We have some guys that I want a good look at. I want to see if week 1 was a fluke. I want to see who's going to actually fight for that roster spot and come into their own. It's going to be very interesting because you really don't know. Preseason is very tough. But Denver, they were very successful in every area that they went at it. Jarrett Stidham had a phenomenal game. He was their leading rusher, but they were going crazy. 4.5 yards per carry, 153 yards. I'm assuming the Cardinals defense will look a lot better with a way better defense than San Francisco's backup. So we'll see how that plays out. That'll be very key because Denver has looked sharp in their first preseason outing. Let's see if we can combat that. I'm very curious to see. It's also nice to see Trent Sherfield, 3 receptions, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Former Arizona Cardinal, man. What a legend he is. Very curious to see how he performs, but they did not have a ton of targets to their top guys. Courtland Sutton, only 1 reception for 2 yards. Bo Nix didn't play a ton. I'm assuming 2 drives. I don't know for sure. This seems like 2 drives, maybe a quarter at the absolute max, I'm assuming. So we're probably not going to see a ton of Denver, maybe a quarter of their starters. I would assume the same thing for the Arizona Cardinals going into this game. Nothing's come out, nothing has been confirmed, but I'm just going off my gut and assuming that Jonathan Gannon is going to play his starters. A lot of the guys, especially Kyler Murray, are very optimistic. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Cardinal side of things. As you guys see, we're going to be looking at Darren Urban's article. It's talking about training camp in Chapter 2 and even what's going on with this joint practice. It's not a lot of tidbits about the preseason game, but we're going to get some good insight because Kyler Murray smiled when the subject of this week's joint practice was brought up. He said, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, the quarterback said probably a little too much. That's what you like to see. You want your QB1 to have the optimism, and you want him to be excited going into this preseason game. That's what you want. You want your QB1 ready to roll and get a look at new faces. The practice of joints has become an annual part of the Cardinals preseason. The heat prevents teams coming from Arizona and getting work in. Under Jonathan Gannon, the Cardinals have made the effort to extend a preseason road game. I like this. And genuinely, Jonathan Gannon has come in here and changed the culture entirely. We're playing different football, and I love it. This is a good look for us. The Cardinals held a joint practice in Tennessee in Cliff Kingsbury's final season of 2022. It's good to see that carrying on. It isn't a preseason game, but it's close to it, Jonathan Gannon said, albeit in controlled form. Quarterbacks aren't getting hit. No one is getting tackled. The Broncos do have one of the best defenses in the league, led by former DC Vance Joseph. They also have Zach Allen, who was an Arizona Cardinal. Probably not going to see a ton of him, but I would not be surprised. He said it's a mile-high city, so the altitude will take a toll. It's a good change of pace from the dry heat. The Cardinals are literally going to Denver. Denver. If you've been to Denver, that sucks your lungs. You cannot breathe up there if you're not used to it. So it's going to be definitely a good pace for this team to kind of get used to different altitudes. The temperature on Thursday during the morning of practice is going to be in the 90s. You're going against different schemes, different people. Jonathan Gannon said it's a new stress to your central nervous system, and I'm very excited. I think Jonathan Gannon is going to have his guys prepared, and we're going to have a good look at what this team is looking like. And I'm not expecting our starters to go crazy, maybe a quarter, but a lot of you guys are teeter-tottering on that. So you let me know if you want to see the starters in week 2. But me personally, I have a couple players and a couple things that I am looking forward to in this matchup. I do want to see Kyler Murray and these starters out here. I want to see that connection still thriving. Kyler Murray felt comfortable only in completing 1 pass. he looked good in my eyes. There were a lot of things that you don't like about that interception. It was a terrible pick. It looked way worse than it was. He attempted a no-look throw, and if you're going to attempt something like that, do it in the preseason. It is a throwaway throw. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Just don't do it in the regular season. He has been good at not turning the football over, so I'm assuming that's going to translate into the regular season. He only had a couple interceptions last year, I think 11 or 12, so I'm not worried about it. I don't think it is a problem, and he is attempting something. Not worried about it. Now, I said I was because it looked egregious. It was one of the worst looking interceptions that you saw, but then you kind of rolled the tape and you saw the no-look throw. So I'm not really worried about it as much as I was. Now, if he continues to throw interceptions, then we'll talk about it. But Kyler Murray, perfectly fine. Marvin Harrison Jr., want to see him come into his own. Trey Benson was running that rock like crazy. I can't wait to see what he looks like in this game. I'm assuming he's going to get a decent amount of workload. Same with Amari DeMarcado. I'm very curious to see how both of them look in Denver's action because they have a fantastic DC. They don't take it serious, like super serious, but these guys are fighting for roster spots. So yeah, they're going to get a good look, and Trey Benson, we're going to hope he gets super comfortable because he is my breakout player. I think he's going to look really good. Let's see how he performs on Sunday. Also, on the defensive side of the ball, Jordan Burks looked exceptional. I can't wait to see what he does. Xavier Thomas, our edge rushers, I want to see how that continues. Dante Stills is already solidified on this roster, but he always gets play because we are actually kind of loaded at defensive tackle for the first time in a long time. That's very nice. You have people like Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols who could be cut candidates. That's kind of crazy. But Dante Stills, I think, is a lock to make this roster, especially if he keeps performing, gets pressure on the interior. He is just a freak of nature. He's progressed every single year and has become a better pass rusher and is also just become a better player in every single year. So we'll see what Dante Stills is up to. We'll see if he keeps balling out. I'm hoping he does because he's been killing it. Also, Will Johnson looked fantastic in his preseason opener. Had that one DPI. You could argue it really wasn't a flag. He did hook him, but you know, it's arguable. Will Johnson, though, he was a lot more comfortable jamming people into the red zone. He looked good. He had like 4 attempted passes thrown at him, no completions. And Will Johnson, I liked what I saw from him. Looked very technical, and he looked ready to play football and looked like a starting corner. I could see him being really good this season. Cannot wait. I think he is going to be amazing for us. And if he comes into his own, that'll be huge for this defense because we kind of need it after losing Starling. Another player I'm looking forward to seeing, again, is Xavier Weaver. How is he going to perform? Is he going to step up? Is he able to take that chain of Greg Dortch, potentially fight for that slot receiver position? Is that something he could do? I like his height. I like what he presents. I think in the return game, it's kind of up in the air after week 1. I mean, Greg Dortch, he fumbled on a kickoff. Or, yeah, I believe it was a kickoff. And DJ Dallas fumbled on a kickoff and a punt return. So, you saw Weaver taking some things back. If he can get a couple yards and just keep things pushing and pushing up the field, you could see him legitimately fight for this roster spot on the special team side of things where you really got to make a name for yourself, and you also are doing it in the receiving game too. If Xavier Weaver gets another touchdown or puts up a big day like 60-plus yards, 80-plus yards, your coaching staff is going to have all eyes on him. He's playing with Jacoby Brissett, one of the most established veterans. That is a great look for him. And if he's going to get all the opportunity in the world, it's going to come in this game against Denver, which is a very solid defense, a very, really good defense. Their starters would absolutely kill a lot of these teams. So it's a nice look for us. I like that. And you also have players like Darren Hall, who's fighting in a very tough cornerback room with Elijah Jones and Denzel Burke. He's fighting, got that interception, and he is just a preseason baller. Keep your eyes out for him. And Keaton Crawford, the exact same thing, got the interception. So your eyes are on him just because of those stats popping out and they're glaring. They can continue to ball out. Keaton Crawford is a great special teams player, and Darren Hall could compete for that back-end corner position. Nobody knows at the end of the day, but I'm very curious to find out because there's a lot of guys who are hungry to make this roster, and we have a lot of talent. We're probably going to end up cutting some good, talented football players. And it's unfortunate. That's the reality of the business. If you build your team correctly, you're going to be in that position. So let's see what happens. I'm hoping we roll the starters out for a quarter. Everybody stay healthy on both sides, and let's get into the regular season healthy and ready to go. I'm excited. You guys let me know how you guys are feeling about this matchup down in the comment section below. What matchups are you excited? What players are you having your eye on? If you're a Broncos fan, inform us. Who should we keep our eye out for? Trent Sherfield was balling. Is that a guy who's a fringe roster player? You guys let us know all the players we should look out on your side and who you're looking forward to just in general on this matchup. But with that being said, that is going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, man. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button. I post Arizona Cardinals and NFL content. So if you're a fan of either of those, this is the perfect channel for you, man. But with that being said, that is going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, man. It's much love. It's been your boy Mythic. Peace out.